SpaceX is the leading company in terms of space research and exploration. Currently collaborating with NASA, this company has done things that no space agency in the world could even dream of doing. However, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and world-renowned aircraft company Boeing have truly given SpaceX a run for their money. So what does each month of the year look like? Let's find out, starting off with January. On January 6, SpaceX kickstarted their year with the launches of their Starlink satellites. A Falcon 9 rocket sent 49 Starlink satellites into Earth orbit, raising the total number of Starlink satellites to a little under 2,000. SpaceX's Starlink project aims to provide low-cost wireless internet access to rural locations by launching thousands of satellites into orbit. However, the novel concept has been met with some criticism. Astronomers, for example, are concerned that having too many satellites in the sky could obstruct astronomical studies. Following that, on January 24, NASA finally launched the James Webb Telescope. This telescope closed a very important chapter in NASA's history. After being in development for almost 30 years and having an overshot budget by almost 1,000%, the launch of this telescope was much awaited. This telescope is an upgrade of the Hubble telescope and is going to send pictures of its journey back to the base anytime this year. Following January, on February 28, SpaceX was going to launch the world's largest rocket, the Starship. This rocket, whose launch date has been delayed several times, was finally set to take off on the last date of the month. But you need to be a bit more patient with that, as the Federal Aviation Administration has yet again intervened the launch and has postponed it by a couple of months. But we still eagerly await for that big day to come, when we can finally see the Starship soar high into orbit. Other than that, on February 18, NASA's youngest Mars rover will celebrate its one-year anniversary on the Red Planet, or as the humans call it, their future home. The rover has sent pictures of some unique rocks and surfaces and has been a vital part of space exploration. In mid-March, NASA wants to send astronauts back to the moon. The first step is the agency's Capstone project, which involves launching a satellite the size of a microwave into lunar orbit or an elliptical route. Later lunar missions, which will follow a similar route around the moon and use novel navigation technology that Capstone will test, will hopefully benefit this satellite. Artemis 1, an uncrewed flight that intends to test a crew module's entry, descent, and splashdown in preparation for flights with a complete crew on board, is another step in NASA's lunar goals. On March 31st, the Axiom 1 mission will launch the first private crew to the International Space Station. According to Axiom's website, the team includes former NASA astronaut and Axiom Vice President Michael Lopez Allegra as commander, American entrepreneur Larry Connor as the pilot, Canadian investor Mark Pathy, and Israeli impact investor Etienne Stib. According to rumors, each of the 4 space passengers paid $55 million to board the craft. On April 15, SpaceX's Crew 4 is expected to blast off into space. We truly are living in an age of excellent space exploration, with not one, but 2 private teams preparing to board the International Space Station. The launch date for SpaceX's all-private Crew 4 mission is planned for April 15. 4 astronauts will board NASA's Crew Dragon spaceship and go to the International Space Station. Jessica Watkins, a mission specialist, would be the first Black woman to serve on the station for an extended period of time. On April 15, the launch window will open. In May, Boeing will have their second attempt for the Starliner. Boeing has been attempting to move forward with a new reusable Starliner spacecraft, which is meant to transport astronauts to and from the International Space Station for several years. The corporation attempted to launch the Starliner to the International Space Station in December 2019. The vehicle's software issues stopped it from completing the journey, but the crew is planning a second try in May 2022. June seems to be a pretty boring month for all you space fans, as there are no major missions planned by any of these agencies, yet. And now we have made it halfway through the year, and you've made it halfway through this video. We would really appreciate your support if you could drop a like on this video and subscribe to our channel. Having said that, let's check out July. In July, Russia will launch the Luna 25. The United States isn't the only country with its eyes set on the moon. In July, Russia's space agency Roscosmos aims to launch the Lunar 25 lunar rover. The rover will investigate the composition of the moon's south pole surface as well as plasma and dust in the lunar exosphere. In August, a new competitor will enter the modern space race, South Korea. The Korea Pathfinder lunar orbiter is scheduled to launch from Kennedy Space Center in August on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. This lunar orbiter, the country's first moon mission, will test a variety of technologies, including a prototype space internet. It will also begin scouting potential landing locations on the moon's surface for future missions. On top of that, a large asteroid formed almost entirely of metal lurks between Mars and Jupiter. NASA wants to get a better look at the object, which has been called Psyche, as they believe that this asteroid could be filled with natural resources that could be worth almost $10 quadrillion. However, some believe that this asteroid could just be a huge pile of waste. Who is to say which one is true? Guess you will have to wait a few more months. In September, NASA will be back in the news as their transiting exoplanet survey satellite, which concluded the first phase of its mission in 2020, photographing nearly 75% of the sky, will have some developments. Since 2020, it's been working on a secondary or extended mission to resume surveying the rest of the visible sky, which is expected to be completed in September. The planet-hunting space probe has discovered many Earth-like planets hundreds of light years away, comets darting through space, and even a few dusty mysteries orbiting faraway galaxies in the months since its first spectacular photograph. Furthermore, NASA revealed a prototype of a futuristic-sounding planetary defense system in November 2021. The DART mission dispatched a probe to collide with Dimorphos, an asteroid, in order to alter the asteroid's orbit around Didymos, a larger asteroid. This project was undertaken by the agency as proof of concept that such procedures might be able to protect us if an asteroid were to strike our planet. DART will make contact with the asteroid in September and gather crucial crash data along the route. In October, the sky will be darkened by a partial solar eclipse. When the Sun, Moon, and Earth are not precisely aligned, this phenomenon occurs. Because the Moon does not entirely cover the Sun's rays of light, it appears as a shadow. Attention! Do not stare directly at the Sun. If you want to see this, make sure you have the proper equipment. Or better yet, take images later and mentally wallow in the joy of seeing it in real time. And since November and December are way too far away, there are no developments revealed for those months. Which one of these missions are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for today's video, and again, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.